Hi, I'm Glenn Whipp with the Los Angeles Times. Joining us today, the star, the creator, the writer, the editor, Last Man on Earth, Emmy nominee, Will Forte.
Hello.
Hello, good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Always good to see you. A little mildly disappointed though right now. You look normal. I was expecting like maybe the beard would be back. I wasn't sure how you would be, what form you would be arriving in today.
It is very weird. I got so used to the beard that this now seems abnormal to me. But I think when you're dealing with a face like this, it's every day is kind of an abnormal day.
But the maintenance time, I imagine, in the morning now is much easier.
It's the best because I'm a little OCD. So when I have longer hair and that beard, I like to keep it clean. So shampooing, I make sure that all the soap is out of my hair and stuff. So that it takes a long time, longer than I think most people.
But you have a beard now. Does that mean that the full-on beard is coming back, or is that a spoiler alert?
Well, this is one I think will not be a big spoiler. No, at the beginning we left off where I've just evened out my head and shaved off the other half of my hair. So I'll be coming back. It'll be about like this, or probably a little shorter. And I'll probably have to take the eyebrows down a little bit too. So that's challenging to go through life without eyebrows.
Yeah. Well, the evening, you mentioned the evening out the hair. I mean, I love that moment back in January. You're at some event or something, and I see these pictures of you, and you're just half your face is clean shaven, including the eyebrow. Very impressive.
Thank you very much.
And then half of it is just full-on long hair, scraggly beard.
Yes.
And I said, this is going to be a great development. I don't know how you're doing this or what you're doing it for.
Some people thought that it was not for the show. I think some people just thought it was an attention grab.
Yeah. Did you get some concerned calls? Everything okay, Will? Or?
I did get a lot of calls, but I think most people knew that it must have had something to do with the show. But it's still a pretty shocking look. It was. I had to wear it for about a month, and it was an interesting experience. It's a lot of strange looks.
Well, you said you had to wear it for a month. You didn't have to. You could have just done that for one episode and then.
That's true. I got to say I was very excited about it. I loved. We came up with the idea months and months before we did it, and I was so looking forward to it just because I liked the joke of it, and I felt like it played out organically in the show, and then to keep it for as long as we did without really addressing it, I thought was pretty fun too.
Right. I mean, that's one thing I love about the show is just how you commit to something. You are, and then you stick with it. You'll set something up, and then it will, you'll commit to it. And like I say, I mean, because I expected that a lot of TV shows that would just be a one episode thing, and then you'd reset to the next episode, and things would kind of be back to normal. But you just kept going. I kept waiting, and then when there was a real emotional payoff to when he had the whole thing shaved off.
Yeah, no, I was very happy with how everything played out. We worked really hard to figure out those beats, and there was a moment where we were just going to have it shaved off at the end of that first episode, but then we tried to figure out a way that we could keep it for a little bit longer. It's just such a weird thing, and then it was really fun in some of the episodes that came after the initial one, after the shock of it wears off. You kind of forget that there are all these scenes that are kind of dramatic that are going on, and I forget. Oh, that's right. I still look like a crazy person. So it was fun to just have that be the new normal for a while.
And Phil Lord, one of the show's creators, said that it was a great decision, except when he had to sit next to you at like a Clippers game.
Yes, pretty much that's a guilt by association situation. So
yeah. And you mentioned kind of the odd thing about having that look in the very dramatic moments of subsequent episodes. That's one thing the show does, is that it mixes these surreal moments, these very bleak moments, funny moments, and poignant moments into this very original thing, which I imagine just tonally that's got to be a huge challenge.
Well, starting out, that was always our mission, was to try to have the show be something where you could just be crazy and absurd, but still try to keep it grounded enough so that you could do more realistic emotional scenes, and somehow the audience has stuck with it, or at least some of the audience has, I guess.
Enough to get you a third season.
But it feels, it's always been important that those moments come about organically, and I'm biased because I'm a part of the show, but I feel like they're it is somewhat organic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the season was kind of broken up into two halves.
Yeah.
And the first one, the first half ended with Phil flatlining.
Yes.
I mean, just in this emergency operation, And then the second half of the season picked up, and there was no Phil. I mean, it was just Jason Sudeikis and this guy on a boat.
Yes.
And then we didn't, several weeks had passed. That was a brave decision, just to kind of say, okay, we're going to put that on hold and focus on Jason's character for a bit.
We had that plan for a long time. A couple of the things, we did not know much about what we were going to do for the second season going into it. But a couple of the things we knew we wanted to try out were that very end of that first chunk, which you were just talking about, where Phil, Mary Steenburgen, and Mel Rodriguez are performing an appendectomy on Phil, the second Phil, and then he flatlines, and Jason is coming down.
And none of them are doctors,
Earth.
We should probably say.
Nobody is a doctor, so it was a lost cause going in. But I was so excited by how that turned out, because that last act in the final episode of that first chunk of shows was completely joke free, and it still felt like the show. So that was exciting to be able to do something different like that. And then with Jason coming back, the whole reason we did the show was that fascination with what it would be like for people to be all alone in this world. So this seemed like a fun chance to get to kind of revisit a different form of the pilot, and really stick with Jason and not cut back to the cast, because I think there was some question, as I think the network would have preferred us to involve the cast in there and keep cutting back and forth between Jason and the group in Malibu, but we felt it was important just to show Jason, so you could really be there and feel his loneliness. When it makes you stretch a lot more to not have any B story to cut away to, and that always excites us, that challenge there.
Right.
So we felt like it was worth taking the risk, and Fox was great to let us do it.
And you had the time to kind of meet Jason's character, and have it be sort of. I mean, how did he find you guys?
Yeah, and because of that episode, I think when you get to know him so well, I think that's why. If people watch and felt that the last several episodes resonated emotionally, I think that's one of the reasons, is because you get to know his character and you get on his side in that episode.
Maybe another reason, just your rendition of Falling Slowly together.
Yeah, that's we we do a lot of karaoke together. A lot of times, that sounds like when I say that, people probably think that means we go out in big groups. We just go, the two of us, and sing songs together for hours and hours. And sometimes we're in bigger groups, but very often it's just the two of us, and we're getting into some deep cuts. But Falling Slowly is one that we do every single time we're together.
Really? Yeah. So that
REO
came out.
Speedwagons, I Can't Fight This Feeling.
Yeah.
Always and Forever, that one. Those are kind of the three main ones.
So slow jams is your specialty.
Oh, yeah. Slow
jams. You guys don't do any kind of upbeat, more Welcome to the Jungle, kind of.
I feel like
Guns N' Roses. I don't know. I'm trying to think of.
No.
No.
I mean, every once in a while we'll do some Beatles. We'll flip around, do different things, but I think we really like the very the heavier, slower songs.
So no wonder you guys sounded so good. You had a lot of practice leading
up. We had
up
so much practice. We did, but we also had the ability to pick the best takes too. So there we are well practiced, but far from perfect.
Yeah. So season 3, you guys have started writing that.
We just started.
I would imagine that parenthood will be a big sort of theme in this season.
Definitely, that's something we're very interested in. Like, it's really scary because there's the everyone in the room has debated since day one. Like, how do we, what would the scenario be realistically? Like, half the women in our writers' room say, "Oh, there's no way I would give birth under those circumstances." The other half, feel like, "Oh, well, we got to keep the population going and start over." So it's, but I'm on the side of, oh, you gotta make the attempt, but I'm also not the one who has to have the actual child, and I always go back to, well, in caveman times there were no OBGYNs.
Yeah.
That's
we don't really know the statistics.
The person who just has to say, push, breathe.
Yeah. Somehow they did it, but yeah.
But we are, all those. It's fun because there are a lot of shows that have had people get pregnant on the show and deal with it. But it's we get to have that extra special twist because it's such a different scenario, with no doctors and stuff. So you can really talk out those situations.
I love just hearing about these discussions you have in the writers' room because you think of it, it's a network comedy, but it's not really. I mean, there's so much going on in the show. I mean, the second season you dealt a lot with kind of issues of grief. You saw Tandy kind of inching along toward responsibility, the relationship between the brothers. I mean, there was some big issues going on.
We're so excited because when we originally pitched the show, it felt like its logical home would be a cable channel, and then Fox was very into it, so we just assumed that they would try to change it into something else, and they really liked the tone that we had in mind, and we never really changed the tone of it. So this is how the show would be if it was on a cable channel, with probably less F words. But I love saying friggin'. It's now in real life I say friggin' instead of the other one.
Yeah.
The legitimate.
So the F words, friggin' and farts, pretty much, right?
Farts, yes. Farts has always been with me.
Farts was the last word said this season when the guys are coming up the beach.
An important word. So
it looks that scene with the season ending and the guys coming up on the beach, storming the beach. It looked like a scene of the pirates from The Life Aquatic, the Wes Anderson movie a little bit. Those pirates.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Didn't look good. That's why
you see what's going to happen. Yeah, we're working on that right now. It's exciting. We're having fun.
Speaking of farts.
I did not. Did you? That was you. That was you.
That was me. I mean, we did have a reader question though from the last episode, where there was the bottling of the farts.
Yes.
Would they still smell after a certain period of time? Is this something that came from your own personal experience, like the karaoke? Was this another?
I actually don't remember who pitched the fart jar. I don't think it was me.
You're not raising your hand, taking responsibility.
No, I would be fine with it. I loved how that played out, and I loved the emotional callback during our sad goodbye of handing me this.
The
this
brothers
fart that
are
he's just
partying.
collected. Yeah.
And that's the goodbye gift, is a fart jar.
I will say
sad.
I definitely in my life have done that, and I think even I'm pretty sure that I did this. Carter Bays and Craig Thomas, we used to write at Letterman together, and I think after I got canned from Letterman, I farted into an Arrowhead bottle, an empty Arrowhead bottle, and possibly sent it to them, or they sent me one. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it sounds more like something I would do to them. Or I planned to do it and never did it. I can't remember, but I think they said that I did it. So,
but it wasn't the reason you got canned from Letterman.
No, this was not. If they probably would have kept me if they knew that I could do stuff like that.
Inventive.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize to my family if you're watching this. That's
I brought it up. I'm sorry.
It's just like MacGruber all over again. My whole family. My mom lost friends from making them go see MacGruber.
Yeah.
There were definitely some friends that
fell by the wayside. What kind of friends were they if she lost them from MacGruber?
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah.
But then I was so excited by the Nebraska situation, because then this was a movie that all my parents' friends could go see.
Alexander Payne, prestige.
It was very exciting. So it kind of anti-MacGrubered their friends, and then this fart comment is probably gonna take it back down.
Going back down. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We did have some questions from readers too, and I remember the last time I saw you about a year ago this time, you were very weary. You were just finishing up the season.
Yes.
Because you're, as I mentioned in the open, you write on the show too. You spend your weekends writing and editing, and then you act in this thing. So it's like a never-ending thing.
Yeah,
People are
pretty
wondering, how
intense.
do you do this? And I read a comment where season 3 you were going to make an attempt to have a life.
Yes, I'm trying to step back a little bit. It's tough because I'm a control freak. The first couple of years, it was just really, really hard, and we have an amazing group of writers and amazing editors. But I'm a control freak, I guess, and really, I don't know. But it really, like, I found myself saying, okay, here is this show I could not be more proud of. I love how it's turning out, but is it all worth it if you never get to see your friends and family? Like, what is life all, and all these deep inner conversations with myself, and I really do feel like, I need to treat myself a little better. Be better for me mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Because again, we got this team of people that are all amazing, and by no means do I, like, when you say stuff like that, I hope it doesn't sound like I do everything by myself. I do not. There is the best support system, the whole crew, but
you're just
the
right
writers.
there with
Like
them.
These are all writers I've known forever. Like we counted up the number of friendship years in that writer's room, and it's like 175 years or something like that. So I have enormous trust in them, and now I'm just trying to be less, just be
control free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because
little.
there are all these amazing people who could do the job just like I could.
Yeah. We had another question from a reader, and maybe this was just bouncing off the California primary yesterday. When does Tandy's term as POTUS end? And what system of government does Tandy lead by?
Now, unless I'm going crazy, I feel like Tandy is no longer the president. I think that Phil II, the second Phil, became the president.
Out there on the cul-de-sac and the couch, they had a meeting.
Yes, but then obviously he died, so I don't know. He didn't have a vice president, to my knowledge.
So
maybe it just reverts to me. I'm not sure. I guess we got to address that for sure.
Another long, deep discussion in the writers' room, right?
I feel like Carol would become the president if
she would be very qualified.
She'd be really good.
I guess and Jason could come back for season 3. It was sort of open-ended.
Well, we definitely didn't see him die with our own 2 eyes. I will say it would have to be a pretty spectacular idea if we were to bring him back, because I really, really loved how that ended, and certainly would not want to just bring him back unless there was a very good reason. But he's probably dead.
Now I'm sad. I kind of held out hope that you don't know. You don't know. I was reading a quote from you where you were saying, because when you initially did the shaving, the half shave, I don't know, is there an official, there should be an official name for that cut, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
They should call it the Forte.
The half tandy?
Right? Yeah, the half tandy. That your dad, that you initially didn't do the eyebrow, or you weren't going to do the eyebrow, and your dad said,
yeah, I sent him a picture, and the hair and makeup department was wildly against doing the eyebrow. Mainly, they were trying to protect me, because I guess sometimes eyebrows don't come back in the same way, or they just change their texture, or don't even come back at all. So I was had this in my head, and then I sent a picture to my dad. Where everything was off except the eyebrow, and he said, "Oh, that looks great. Not gonna do the eyebrow," and that was enough right there. I was like,
yeah,
the ultimate dad pressure.
Yeah,
Dad always knows. Father knows best. So,
but not from personal experience.
No, he does not know from personal experience. He's never done anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to send that text to your son. But what I would have loved. By the way, it's my dad's birthday. So happy birthday if you're watching. What I think would have been very supportive as a father would be for him to have shaved off his half and done the eyebrow as well, and said, "See, I did it. Now you can too, son." But he didn't.
That thought apparently didn't cross his mind.
It did not.
But the eyebrow came back.
It came back so quickly. We had to reshave it halfway through the first week, and it's only been a couple months since it's probably been like 3 or 4 months, and I've had to trim it several times.
Yeah, we're at that point in our lives where
Yes.
the eyebrow really isn't a problem. I'm surprised the makeup people said that.
Yeah, no, I now would counsel anybody to shave it off.
Yeah.
It's an interesting, just like the half and half. It's something that not a lot of people get to experience.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that.
We're there.
Little life adventures. I'm having a hard time talking.
Well, you just came in.
My
You
words
just
keep
flew
getting
in.
split in half. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, we should say that.
I was in Montreal. I came back from Montreal and woke up very early this morning. Have you been there?
I have never been to Montreal.
I never had either, so I had to go to Toronto for the Canadian upfronts for the show, and then I decided I'm right out here. I've heard Montreal is a beautiful city. Never been there, so I flew out there just for like 16 hours, and it is beautiful. It's so fun too. Mm-hmm. So I had a great time. Can't wait to go back.
Well, thank you.
Maybe we'll go together.
Maybe.
You gotta go though. It's great.
With full eyebrows and full hearts.
Yes.
And thank you for coming in today from Montreal. It's been great, and congratulations on the season. I really mean that. It was just
Thank you.
What a great season. I'm really looking forward to season 3.
Thank you very much.
And for more of these Emmy conversations, you can go to latimes.com.